Triple header. Henry was dozing off at Knapford Sheds. It was a hot day, and the flying kipper had been very heavy. "I get out of breath so easily," moaned Henry, "and no one cares. They always say I'll be all right after a rest." "You should get the Fat Controller to give you tanks in a bunker," suggested Ryan cheekily. You'll look like a new engine. We tank engines never get out of breath, you know." It was lucky for Ryan that Henry didn't have the energy to reply. The men worked hard to make Henry feel better, but it was no good. "You need to go to the works to get new tubes," said the Fat Controller. "In the meantime, Neville will pull the flying kipper." And he was right. Neville felt very happy when he found out the Fat Controller wanted him to pull the flying kipper. It was one of his favourite jobs, and Neville loved it. He began racing down the line without a single care in the world. The train was heavy, but he still went on without making such a fuss. But on the same day Henry was supposed to come back, Neville was ill too. "There's only Ryan who will have to pull the flying kipper now," the railway inspector said to the Fat Controller. But you'll need the help from Arthur," he said, "and Rosie especially. I'll call them right away." Luckily, the station was still outside Knapford Sheds, and the Fat Controller found Rosie, Arthur and Ryan at Knapford Sheds. "I would like the three of you to take the flying kipper today," he said. "It's not as easy as shunting trucks in the yards, but I hope with your help the three of you can manage. But this'll only be a job for 3 engines." "Yes, sir," the two said, and they puffed out of Knapford Sheds to fetch the flying kipper. Moments after, the 3 tank engines finally arrived at Brendam Docks, and there waiting for them was the flying kipper. The 3 were coupled together. Rosie was at the front, Arthur right behind her, and Ryan was at the back and was coupled to the flying kipper. The fishermen were in such a hurry, and they all had to keep up with good timing. They all shouted until the door banged, and the green lamp shined in front of the 3 tank engines, and they set off with the flying kipper. The 3 tank engines had to work extra hard. They even took it steady and still. The flying kipper was very heavy for the 3 tank engines to handle, and they hurried along the line. Soon they approached the hill. They were going to be needing more help when they get there. Rosie was pulling extra hard, trying to keep up with the good work. The drivers and firemen seduced steam on the 3 tank engines, but they were feeling very tired and hot and bothered. Then they approached the bridge. Ryan, on the other hand, felt like wanting to give up, but he knew he couldn't. Keep going, he said to himself. Then they approached the Action Canyon, and they approached the Action Canyon too soon. Then there was a loud bang. Then there was a loud bang. Rosie's driver and fireman applied the brakes. Arthur's driver and fireman and Ryan's driver and fireman stopped both Arthur and Ryan too. When they stopped, Rosie's driver and fireman checked Rosie all over. "Your safety valve's burst," he diagnosed. Now both Arthur and Ryan will have to push you as well as pull the flying kipper. Rosie felt out of breath and felt very silly. Both Arthur and Ryan cheered her up. "Don't worry," said Ryan. "There's still hope for us yet. We still gotta get this train straight to Aldborough Harbour and back. Then we will have a rest," said Ryan eagerly. And with that, the two pushed Rosie as well as pulled the flying kipper very hard. And with a mighty heave, the two engines went straight and hard on. The flying kipper was still holding them back, but they didn't care. They were almost out of water until they were almost at the harbour. Until moments after, before being able to reach Aldborough Harbour, both Arthur and Ryan slowed down at the station. Their water injectors were beginning to slow down, and with that, the two grind to a halt. Their water tanks were empty, and they couldn't move a wheel inch any longer. The Fat Controller, who had seen everything, came out of the station and congratulated the three tank engines and told them how proud he was of them. After that, Rosie had already been taken to the works, and Ryan and Arthur were shunted outside Knapford sheds to have a drink at the water tower for their hard work. And Boko took charge of the flying kipper. Both Arthur and Ryan were very happy that their trip with the flying kipper was over, but they were very glad that the two and Rosie had made a very good team.